This is Nothing Coherent. I'm Brandon.
I'm Zach.
I'm Ryan.
So we haven't been together for a while, maybe potentially,
about
depending
over
on
a
how
month
this all plays out. So we're gonna try to do our D23 talk because we didn't get to do that together.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna try to do a little bit of what we've seen and what we've been playing, and try to just catch up with you guys. You know, it's only been a hot minute. So let's do quickly what we've seen or what we've been playing over the last month since we've recorded last.
Okay. I actually started Kingdom Hearts for the very first time. I actually streamed my first 2 hours of playing that game on Twitch, and I really enjoyed it. I thought with how old the game was, I might not get into it as quickly, but I was quickly adjusting to the game really well. I really enjoyed it. Other than that, the only other thing I've actually played was survival mode of Fallout 4 because I've never actually done that. It is brutally hard, and I actually really like it. It makes me feel like I'm learning the game all over again. Like, you can't fast travel, you can't save on your own, you have to find a bed to sleep in to save and stuff. So it's fun. Like, I know it's an older feature, but I just never used it, and I was like, I'm going to give this a try because I just never have. That's really it for games because I've just not really been too busy the past month or so. Movie-wise, I just went and saw Good Boys with Brandon.
Yeah, it was good.
I liked it.
It's a solid 7. I mean, it's a funny movie that overall doesn't have a really good plot.
The trailers have the best jokes in them, unfortunately, I think. So, at that point, we just see the full joke.
No, this is the movie with Seth Rogen. And
he's producing it.
It's the three boys.
The three kids,
who
yeah.
are trying to get
And they
kids.
came and watched their own movie.
It's like Superbad with 6th graders, basically.
Yeah, it's Superbad for middle school.
Yeah.
That's the perfect way to describe it. There are some, funny moments. There's a lot, and there are some jokes that aren't in the trailers that were good.
Yeah.
It's one of those that I would never recommend you go to theaters to see.
Yeah,
at least compared to some other comedies that have come out this year that I'd recommend way higher
just wait
than
for
that.
DVD.
But it's worth a watch, but I don't know if it's worth a watch in theaters.
Yeah. I whenever I saw the trailer, I was like, eh.
My fiance liked it more than either of us did.
Yeah,
but
she did.
I would give it a solid 7. She'd say an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, that's what we both
Really?
Yeah.
7.
Anything else you want to talk about? I've got a bunch of movies I'm just going to hit real quick. Before we do a little bit of Hobbs and Shaw talk, because that was the last trailer discussion we had right before. Or, sorry, Wild Speed Super Combo talk.
Oh, yeah, Wild Speed Super. Yeah, go for it. If there's anything that I've seen that I'm just not remembering.
Okay, so I'm going to try to do this in reverse. So, Farewell, thought it was really good.
Oh, the Farewell was the Chinese...
The Family.
Yeah. That actually is really good.
Really good movie, one of my favorites of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Tugged my heartstrings, bawled my freaking eyes out at the end. The cast is really great. Awkwafina is just proving more and more of what a dominant role she's going to be as we move forward, as her career grows.
Yeah.
Especially she's been cast in Shang-Chi.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which was announced at, I think it was D23, but it was announced at Comic-Con.
I almost cried, at the end.
I did, but I don't want to spoil why I cried, because I recommend you see this movie. I saw Scary Stories. Oh, so Farewell's probably solid 9.
I'd say, yeah.
I wish it was a little longer
really
and explained on a few other things, but overall, it's a great film.
Mm-hmm.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, one of the worst movies I've seen this year. Super big disappointment. Hated it. It's easily a 5.
I've heard that in that just some of the characters are just not done very well.
Here would be my quick thing on it is that, so when they do the Scary Stories, when they're taking straight from the book, it's great. Those moments are awesome and cool and terrifying. The monsters look awesome because you can tell Del Toro did that part of it. But the plot sucks and they definitely leave it on a cliffhanger because they set up a sequel that's not going to happen. I mean, if it does, I'll be surprised, but I hate when movies do that when they don't do standalone things sprinkle what could be sequels.
Yeah.
Instead of being
But they left it at a hard...
You don't get a definitive answer for some things, and you're like, well, that's stupid.
That makes sense.
Another movie, so a 5. I would recommend if you could just watch clips on YouTube of just the monster scenes, and then it's great. But watching it all together, it was there were several times I'm like, man, we're wasting our time sitting here. I saw Ready or Not.
Oh,
the
that's
hide and
the
go seek
hide and go
horror
seek
movie thriller.
movie.
I really liked it.
A lot of
I
people
just
said
want to.
that.
Yeah, I really liked it. I don't know where it would say. It might barely be in the top 10, but I do recommend it. It's a great film.
I heard it's fun.
I like. It's a lot of fun.
Top 10 of this year?
Yeah. The ending. It reminds me of Cabin in the Woods, which I feel like kind of spoils it. But it's really
okay.
weird and
It's one of
funny and
those
like
movies.
over
Alright.
the top. And I think the ending they did. There's 2 different endings out there, and I hope one day we see the original one. But the ending they did was, I thought, really funny and really cool. But we'll see what happens. I also saw The Peanut Butter Falcon, which is easily my top 5 this year with Shia LaBeouf, and it's Zach something. But it's about a Down syndrome kid who wants to be a wrestler, so he escapes a nursing home he's been kept at and meets with Shia LaBeouf, and they go on the run. And it's super interesting.
That
It's
sounds awesome.
super heartfelt. The ending will tug at your heartstrings. I said I wouldn't have cried if, when we were standing up, I looked in the back of the theater, and there was this Down syndrome kid hugging his mom, just crying, and I just started bawling my eyes out.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh man.
I'd lose it if I saw that.
Yeah, it was a real struggle for me there. So like a 9, that's easily my top 3.
He is now in the WWE.
No.
And then I also saw It Chapter 2, which I'm going to try to keep this quick. Adult cast is amazing. The movie itself is not... It teeters on great to okay, where some moments are really good, some moments are kind of just like, you're not committing fully to this.
That's just the second half of it in general.
Right. And some people were like, well, why didn't it just kill me? It had all these opportunities to. Well, the problem is they don't expand enough, and that's what I was like trying to tell people. There are things where like, you're like, well, why doesn't this happen? It's because in the book, they explain it really well of why certain things didn't happen, but they don't commit to it in the movie. And so the ending is kind of dumb, depending on who you ask. My fiance thought it was terrible and didn't like the movie at all. I thought it was great up until like probably the 3rd act, which is where there are a lot of issues.
Does it get really weird?
No, it starts to. It starts to, and you're like, oh, we're gonna do this, and then it cops out. It's like, actually, we're not gonna.
They don't do like the weird space turtle thing.
Nope. They show turtles several times, so I thought they were setting it up. That's a spoiler, but they didn't do it. They hint at it several times, and I was like, man, because they even talk about it is from space, and they're almost there. They're like right there on the edge to being like, let's commit to doing this, and instead they're like, actually, just kidding.
Let's just pull this back. It's just a killer clown.
Yeah, but Bill Hader, of course, is the star of the show. He's great. I recommend seeing the movie. It is almost 3 hours.
Yeah, I heard it was extremely long. It was definitely stretched out in certain parts,
Yeah.
and that it wasn't scary really. It was more of just storytelling.
That depends on who you ask. A lot of people around us thought it was terrifying.
Really?
I didn't, but I also don't think the first one's scary. So take that as you will.
There was less jump scares also, is what
I would
too.
agree with that, but I think the jump scares that they had were a little more, because it's more adult focused on like the scares. But it's kind of hard to like. It's kind of hard to explain.
So it's like somebody getting like their paperwork from the IRS. Like that's the fear. Like that's what Pennywise is using to terrify them.
We're like, no.
Your mortgage.
They do also have a twist that I thought was in the book, but upon re-looking, and one of my friends said that it wasn't, and so I apologize. I don't think it is in the book, but there's something they add to it that's kind of weird. So I don't know how well that will play out with some people. There's a lot of things that like, it's long, but the first 2 hours you don't realize that it's 2 hours have passed. You feel like everything flies by.
Mm-hmm.
Then it drags, and you're like, oh.
Okay, it's time to wrap this bad boy up.
And because I looked at my phone, and I was like, man, we're reaching the climax, and I was like, oh, there's still another hour. And
really?
So like, yeah, it's with trailers at the theater we went to. It's 3 hours and 10 minutes. So like,
that's a lot.
Yeah, but it should have been 3 hours. Honestly, it feels like it should have been 4. It feels like they're missing a few more things that could have made the movie like.
Yeah,
I'd
no,
argued a huge epic between the two of them.
The Stephen King novels are always super long, so like, I always feel like maybe just doing like Netflix or something like that would work better for them.
Yeah, I feel like HBO, because it's Warner Brothers, they needed to just like give it to HBO and be like, we're doing another miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna fully commit to this. I one day want to see. I think what would make it what would make the film up in my ranking is if they interspliced It 1 and 2.
Right.
Because there are several moments where you're like, you could put this in the first It movie
Mm-hmm.
and just have like, I think it'd be perfect to do a I think it'd be like a 5-hour.
Miniseries.
It'd be like a 5-hour, 5-minute would be the runtime of the two movies if you combine them.
Wow.
There are some things like I won't get into all of it. One day maybe I'll talk about the spoilers and what I didn't fully like about it. But there are like characters in there that shouldn't be in there, like don't really serve the plot, and there's just things I wish were done differently. But overall, I like the film. Don't get me wrong; it's like a solid 7.5, maybe an 8. But I think the first one's like a 9. Like I do recommend it. Chapter 2. It's just you're gonna walk away with more like problems than you were the first one. Where the first one you're like, it has issues, but you still liked it. So I think that's all the movies. I'm going to touch on one game real quick, because I've beaten it and I want to talk about it, since it was the last thing I talked about. It's Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I know both of you played, and I know Zach didn't care for it as much.
Yeah, sorry guys, I just couldn't get into it.
I beat 2 campaigns and then sold it. But
And then I'm like, I think about halfway through.
who did you do?
Blue.
Okay, so
So-
that's the only one I didn't do.
Yeah, so I'm like halfway through, and I haven't played in the last 2 weeks, but like it's one of those games that if you start playing, you don't drop it until you have to.
Yeah.
But if you get into it, which I finally got into it, like kind of like I had to push myself, but I've really enjoyed the game. I just wish I had more time because it's very time consuming.
Yeah,
So-
I hate that it's not as long as I heard, which sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I want
You're
to
like-
be able to beat this game,
Yeah,
but you're also like, I want the story to go
to
on
keep
longer.
going.
And to
Yeah,
like have time with these characters, because I heard each campaign was 80 hours, and that's not true.
yeah,
Each is maybe like 25 to 30, and
which
is
I
fine.
would agree with that probably.
Yeah, because you could get all of them done in you could get the main 3 done in 90 hours, which is a lot, but the problem is, so I did the Black Eagle House, which I loved the characters, loved the story it told, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna do the Yellow or the Golden Deer.
Mm-hmm.
And I beat that, but midway through, I just recruited all of my Black Eagle House, and so I was like, well, I'm not even becoming attached to the characters of
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Golden Deer, and so like I enjoyed my second playthrough, but I became
I don't
so
even know if
attached.
I'd want to play the others because I just like
Well, that's
I'm like you're dedicated to what you're
right,
doing,
and
so
I
you
was
don't
like,
wanna,
I'm ride or die. Black
yeah,
Eagle, till the
yeah,
end. And that's still how I was the entire time. Like, there's a moment in the game which I won't spoil, and I was still like, I just can't side with the house I'm in
I
because
just
was
felt like
so
it was like
attached
the
to-
Pokemon Go choice because it was red, blue, and yellow again. I went Team Instinct like I did on Pokemon Go.
But each one has like a good enough campaign. It's just the problem is it takes so long to get to
Yeah.
where they deviate.
you
Yeah,
want
we-
you want that progress, and at points you're not seeing as much.
Yeah,
so
I
you kinda-
wish. So, bare minimum spoilers. There's a time skip. I
Yeah.
wish the game just picked you up from that time skip because pre that on all 3 of them are the same.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, man, I would kill if you could just jump me into here
Yeah,
and be like, hey, I know what happens, and just let me play from there.
yeah,
Let me play from where the stories deviate. I don't want to be as attached, but I just want to see what happens. And so that was kind of my thing. But it's one of my game of the years.
it's. I mean, it's. I haven't got to play a lot of games this year, but it is one of my favorite games. So
I've been trying to play, unfortunately, everything. So I played a little bit of a lot of stuff.
yeah,
I'm in the middle of Control, which I'll talk about hopefully next time we record. I'm hoping to have it beaten by then because Borderlands comes out Thursday. And
that's a big game that I'm waiting for.
Borderlands
so I love
comes out-
Borderlands.
this week, Zelda's next week,
Ugh.
Dragon Quest is the week after. Then I have a break for October until Luigi's Mansion.
Luigi.
And then November, I'm just totally screwed. I have no idea how I'm going to focus all my time.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna play Outer Worlds.
Not until it comes out on Switch.
Oh, you're gonna play
Um,
Death Stranding.
Couple of games I'm going to mention since we are talking about games right now, and this is not your guys' cup of tea, but Madden came out
Oh, yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that.
and 2K came out. I just bought both of them. I haven't got to play them. I know the 2K system seems like it's a little. So there's multiple games within 2K for you guys that don't play it. There's like a basically you collect players cards and
Yeah.
you create teams that way, which is really cool. It's a very interesting element to put in a sports game.
Yeah.
A few years back, we didn't have anything like that.
Mhm.
Madden's doing the same thing, and MLB The Show are doing the same thing. So you can become addicted to kind of this. It's just like any of the games that we play with
I used
cards,
to
where you're
play
trying to
Madden
collect
every
and you're
year.
trying to.
But it always just started feeling the same. So I just
Yeah.
stopped.
The big thing is I've heard there's a lot of improvements with Madden, which I haven't got. I'll put my review in the next show that we do. If it's a month from now, 2 years from now, or next week, I'm not sure. But the Madden, I will try to play through at least a season, hopefully by next week. and kind of tell you if it's the same old, or if they're finally doing something with it. But this is the 100th year of the NFL anyways, so I feel like this is a pretty big game. This is something that you would want to keep and not resell probably for.
2K, I think, has some controversy behind it. I think there's a lot of microtransactions in it. I might be wrong on what I heard. I haven't looked into it a whole lot.
Yeah, so they've kind of itched more and more to that way, which some people don't care that much, and some people do. The big difference is there's a lot of non-gamers that play 2K.
Well, there's a lot of non-gamers who play Madden and 2K in the show every year. So I know a lot of people. Well,
it's a split. So some of them don't give a crap because they're not personally offended by all the other microtransactions from actual game, other games to get you further in the story or further or whatever. This is annoying because, and I have to see how this 2K system works.
I heard it was overbearing.
Yes, because sometimes you can put a lot of hours in, and you don't get rewarded for it. And the biggest thing with 2K19 was the whole system was broken. So I would work really, really hard to get, and you unlock packs if you do certain things or whatever, and then you get the same player over and over again. And there's like thousands of different players, and you're like, what the crap? And so I did like a thing where I paid like $10 to get like a couple boxes or whatever, and I got like in each pack there was like 5 players or whatever. You're supposed to get like a premium player, one of those 5 or whatever in that system. And I opened 3 packs and I got the same premium player. And dude, I was like done. I'm like, I literally just put $10 extra into this game and stuff. And I bought every 2K game since 2009 or whatever.
I mean, even WWE games by 2K are doing the same thing now. Like,
I could see WWE would be a cool card pack kind of thing.
They kind of have that.
I don't know if they have enough players or enough people to have like a ton of different cards. You have like a Brock Lesnar of his early days.
You have like so many different eras, and you can just do different gimmicks and all the other stuff. Like from when they played a different type of character, you could do it. That does sound kind of interesting, but no. Even in like WWE games, microtransactions are a thing now, where it's like you can buy a move pack, you can buy taunts, you can buy. I'm like, this is just unbearable. The older games, you didn't have to do this.
Yeah. So,
like I'm not a fan of microtransactions unless it's like cosmetic and it doesn't affect the game. I don't really care. But when you lock things behind a paywall to where people can, especially in like shooters.
The big thing is if I put in a couple $100 into 2K, I'd be one of the best like playing other people online because it's the best. And so that's what it comes down to on that. If it was a little bit like more averaged out and is a little bit more rewarding for, let's say there's that 15-year-old kid that has no money or whatever that's just literally just wanting to play the game but wanting to do okay. If you do that, the other kind of catch-22, depending on what your objective is they will match you up with some players like kind of close to your overall other teams. So it's not like you're just getting stomped. Sometimes you do, but if there's not enough people or the match is bad, which 2K has issues with that too. But
I have heard a lot of people said that if it was like a free game, like Fortnite or something, which I know would never happen. Yeah, because people like. Millions of people buy this game every year. But if that was the case, you wouldn't even blink an eye at those microtransactions.
Right.
Because you already pay $60.
Oh, if you put $60 into the game, you would do really well. See, I've gotten more into it because my brother is like hardcore into it. But I've always played it for the franchise mode and the My Player mode. And My Player mode, I want to do that. That takes a long time to go through the whole story. Like, a long time. If you really want to get to that championship and you want to do all those things and see how they do it, 2K's been really good at, like, creating that. They have terrible, cringy storylines with it. The last couple have been, like, horrendous. Like, cringy, just, like, I don't get it. I get that it's different, and they've expanded on the world that you can do, which is really cool, but the actual storyline is like, and I've been spoiled because I play other games, like people that don't play other games, that play just sports games, and they're like, oh, this is neat, or whatever, and you're like, this is horrible, like, I don't know what you're looking at here, but anyways, so I want to play that, but it just takes a lot of hours, and I'm almost done with MLB The Show on my, you have to play 164 games.
You have to play a lot.
And you have to play 164 games because it's a normal season. They have simulations where you can fast forward or you can only play one inning or like certain times. I play every single pitch, every single at bat, every single thing because I want to get the full experience. And I do all the trades, all the everything. So that's why it takes me so long. So right now I'm in September. I'm like almost right with where the baseball is now, which means I only have a month. And then if I go to the playoffs, then I'll have another 30 games probably if I go to the championship. But if I do that, I will put it down and I will get my complete season. But I want to be able to finish it out. So that's also why I'm trying to finish MLB The Show before I play Madden 2K. And Madden and 2K keep on opening closer and closer. There used to be a bigger gap, and it's like a 2-week gap this year, which is I used to play Madden because you can play 16 games, and it would take you about 20 hours to get through a full season if you do it my way. That's with everything in full control. But the gap is getting closer with 2K, and both seasons open up pretty close, about a month and a half apiece. But for whatever reason, 2K likes to kind of march into the market a little bit. So
I heard, I could be totally wrong on this. I heard they were trying to like ride the hype of like right before preseason of football begins of being like people want that, people want to like watch football, play football, talk about football. So you have that like they'll make the purchase because it's right there right before.
Yeah.
It's smart.
I wish Madden would come out 2 weeks earlier in more like at the start of the preseason, basically, just to ride that a little bit, and it buys me more time to play that. And then 2K, 2K takes a lot longer than Madden does. Yeah. And Madden's story, if we're going to talk about any more sports, Madden's stories, like their little personal player things, are the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, or at least the last Madden. Like my player.
The first one they did long shot on was right. Like it was a step in the right direction.
Well, it is the first time it's ever happened, so I was like, okay, they've done something.
Yeah, I heard the ones after that weren't great.
Yeah, the next one after that was just, I was like, I just can't. So I didn't care to invest in the story, and you don't have any choices. It's just like, but it's cool. Like when you get, if you're like. They need to go more into a better perspective, which they started to, is when you get drafted, like you've worked your whole college career, this is like the every boy's dream kind of thing, to really, if they could tell a better story with that, and you get that call that's one of these teams have drafted you, and you get that like pure emotion, and then you're able, and you get to meet players that you get to play with that you used to look up to and stuff, and you have those interactions, I mean, that's a really good story. Unfortunately, it's some cringe crap fest right now. So maybe Madden will get their crap together someday.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Anything else before we jump into a little bit of Hobbs and Shaw talk or Wild Speed?
I can talk about Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
I finished Designated Survivor last week. Unfortunately, we made the joke last episode that they canceled. As I got through my first season, I think, when they canceled. So I went ahead and watched it. The first and second seasons are really, really good. I think they're really good. The characters, all of them are very strong characters. I feel like there's not truly, in the first two seasons. Third season got, and when I say political, the whole show is political. But they really tapped into stuff that's going on here, and they can do that because it's like, well, it is political.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, just tone it down just a little bit.
Which, remember, season 3 was when Netflix acquired it.
Yes. And so you could tell there's definitely a tone shift. First two seasons were a lot better than the last season. There were some interesting things, and they built this thing up way, way, way high at the end of the third season. Where it was like peaking. And you're like, okay, I want to know what happens, right? That last episode, I knew that the show had been canceled, so I'm like praying that they do something with it. But I'm watching the last episode, I'm like, what is going to happen? Cliffhanger. Absolute cliffhanger. Every single character had a cliffhanger. There was no closure whatsoever. There was a couple that kind of had closure, but you didn't know what was going to happen with them. And I don't know if I should spoil this or not. It's whatever. No one watches it probably. I don't know. I haven't really.
That's why I got canceled.
Yeah, but so he's running for re-election or whatever, and he gets re-elected at the very end, and a whole bunch of other stuff happens around that, and you're like, oh shoot, okay, so is everything going to happen or like what? And then it just ends. It just ends. Like it would be a good season ender, like, but just because you're like, okay, I can't wait till fourth season. No. and then another main character, something happens, and then another, like, all the main core, because they've been the same core this whole time, which is, I love that no one's really split. They've added some other side characters, which a couple are kind of annoying. That's Netflix's fault, because they just add them in there, and they're all about diversity, like hardcore. So they literally have, like, every character is, like, just extremely, like, everywhere. So I didn't mind it, but Netflix took it that next step, and it's like, okay, I get it, but, like, let's tell the story how it should be. So anyways, I really enjoyed, I think the first 2 seasons, I think the first season was probably the best, but it also started off from the top. That first episode, I would encourage anybody that doesn't really care to know anything, watch the first 30 minutes of the first episode, and it will literally, you will probably want to watch what the crap happens after that, and then that's how you get sucked in.
And then you're depressed after.
And then you're full of disappointment when you get to season 3, but you're still watching because there's this building climax of, like, okay, they've solved one problem, and then they literally, I won't say what character, but they sacrifice a character basically, which it was okay. I accepted that, but that the character sacrifice, if they end the show, then it was worthless to me. So I don't know. This is a horrible season to end on. That's all I have to say.
I know. I was reading they had already started writing the 4th season when they learned they were canceled.
Yeah.
So
if they try to squeeze out one more season, they could try to close it out, and I mean, they could do a whole bunch of, like, I could see him getting assassinated or something, just like out of the blue, and they have closure, and then, like, the next upcoming, which they have something set up that I could see kind of go. I can't spoil anything because everybody's all over the place. But
I think if they were going to do anything, it would be a Netflix is like, hey, we'll do a movie or like a special.
Oh, you mean like El Camino?
And that's what they get. But Breaking Bad ended, like, in a satisfying way. I'm talking about, like, Timeless, I think, is one of them that got canceled, and instead they get a 2-hour movie.
Or like Firefly.
Firefly.
Firefly just ended. Why did you throw it at me?
One other show I want to touch on, because it was a fan request. We have a fan.
Wait, what? Who?
A fan requested that I watch Letterkenny on Hulu, which I don't know if either of you guys have heard of.
No.
He says it's like one of the funniest shows he's ever seen, and I don't want to break his heart. I watched the first episode and thought it was all right. Its humor is very dry. It's Canadian.
Okay.
They're Canadians, and, like, I don't really even know how to, like, explain the plot of the show because there isn't really one. I just know that he, like, in the first episode, his girlfriend or wife leaves him, and then he had promised not to fight anybody, and at the end of the episode he fights somebody, and there's, like, a lot of just dry humor, but this fan requested I watch it, and, like, I was like, I mean, I like it, don't get me wrong, I just don't know if I'll finish it.
So, there is a certain Canadian show that we watched that we really enjoyed. It was a few weeks ago. We watched a show called Nathan For You.
That's not Canadian.
The guy's from Canada.
But this show's...
This show's not Canadian.
Yeah,
the
the whole thing is on Comedy Central in New York.
So?
Well, I guess not. It's all over the place, but
yeah.
Nathan For You is really good.
Nathan For You is hilarious.
If you ever want to watch, he looks like your brother.
Yeah, he does.
The main guy.
Oh, yeah. We watched almost a whole episode the other night.
Yeah. He looks like him. He even kind of acts like him too.
I know.
I know it makes him really mad, but
every time I see an episode, I'm just like, this looks like him.
Someone was telling me that, and I didn't see it as much. I see, like, how he acts and stuff a little bit, but, like, looks like him, and I think it's a little bit of a stretch.
I think it's like him, but just 10 years older.
Yeah, I think like an older version of him. That's what he looks like to all of us.
Like, one day when he's 35, that's what he's going to look like. And people are going to be like, oh my gosh, they're bringing the show back.
Yeah, just walking
They'll
down.
see him walking around town. He'll be applying for like a business job and be like, oh no, we're not falling for this.
Oh,
I remember you on Comedy Central.
None of that. I think you should
because we're not getting pranked, dude.
You should make a poop-flavored yogurt. Poop-flavored yogurt. Yeah, because don't you think people would be outraged and come and, like...
Yeah, I watched the episode where he did the whole dating show or whatever.
That is such a good episode.
So good.
Dude, one of the things that love and I hate is feeling so uncomfortable. When someone does something so uncomfortable,
Yeah.
you're like, just please, just stop,
There's
just
that
stop,
one,
and
there's
then just
that
push
one
it.
lady who tries to kiss him and he like leans
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Back.
It kinda goes
He's like,
He's like,
he's like, you're going too fast.
We just met, and then he goes to lean in, and then he stops. He's like, "Oh no."
One of my favorites is, so one of the girls on that episode comes back later to date one of the writer, or I think it's producer or writer of the show,
Yeah.
and they go to Quiznos, and the entire date they tell the guy what to say. So every
Oh,
once
yeah,
in a
he's
while, he's just talking about
advertising
different
Quiznos.
Quiznos products, and she'd
She's
be
like,
like, she'd be having like an intimate
toasty
conversation with him,
Quiznos.
and they'd be like, okay, now time to talk about Quiznos. He'd be like, but I need to answer. And they're like, no, talk about whatever like sandwich they were promoting and stuff, or like deals.
Gosh.
I love the episodes where they have somebody in his ear and tell him what to say.
The interview, you just hired this turtle.
Yeah. And he just puts a little turtle on their desk.
But I recommend, I mean, like, Letterkenny, I want to watch a little bit more before I make a judgment on, but I loved Nathan For You. Like, I want to
Nathan
watch
For You
more
is
of that.
great.
So, I guess Hobbs and Shaw, unless you have anything else.
Nothing relevant.
Okay. Hobbs and Shaw is actually surprisingly really good.
So, yeah, quick review on it, since it's been out for a month at this point, is really liked it more than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the, I think it's in the upper
If
half
I
of
had
the
to
Fast and
rank
Furious
the
movies.
films, I would say probably 7 would be number 1, 6 would be number 2, 5 would be number 3, and then Hobbs and Shaw at number 4.
Probably. I liked it more than Fate of the Furious.
Yeah, I didn't like Fate of the Furious as much. I just was like, the whole Dom betrays the family storyline just didn't work for me. I was like, I don't buy this with just how much they've hammered in like the importance and value of family in this series. I don't believe over the course of.
I mean, he did it for family.
I know,
I don't
but
think
it
it's
was like,
out of the character for what he did. I think the movie just isn't like.
They just wanted to have. They're trying to one up every
Yeah,
movie.
they were
So
like-
that's just part of the
That's why,
one up.
That's why, like,
here's
I
the
like
thing,
it for
though.
like the stupidity. Basically, I
It's-
come.
Yeah.
This man who owns a street racing garage all of a sudden becomes a giant, massive cyber terrorist, and I just couldn't buy it with him.
But I don't care about that. Look, after 7, after all of 7, I accepted that we are at the point of where it is over the top ridiculous. You just turn off your brain and watch.
Listen, we need to just send them to space already.
Which is what I hope the next ones do.
I
yeah,
think
they're
they,
calling for it. So
I think they need to have
I've
them.
read that so many.
They need to have them in muscle cars drifting on the moon fighting some aliens. Like,
They don't need to fight aliens. There needs to be a moon base. They need to be drifting around the moon base.
and killing soldiers in space.
Yeah.
Because the soldiers are going to
Launch
blow
a nuke
up-
at the Earth. and
launch
so
a nuke at the
the
Earth,
moon
yeah.
is their new base of operation.
Something like that.
That
They're like
sounds
starting
so-
to mine from the moon or
That
something.
sounds like
and
something
then-
straight out of a cartoon.
Charlie Theron has already confirmed she's back. I don't know
Yeah.
if it was like officially announced, but on her Twitter she said she was back filming.
John Cena's going to be in the next one. I think that
There's 2 more cast members added as well that I can recognize
Yeah.
the names.
So, Idris
Idris
Idris-
Elba.
or
Idris
Idris,
Elba.
whatever.
I actually
however you
really
say
liked
his
him in the movie.
I thought he did pretty good.
Yeah.
For me,
I felt kind of bad
it's-
for him at the end.
for me, I think that Hobbs and Shaw was a pretty good extra movie to kind of add to it. They spent a lot of money on doing all this stuff, and it's entertaining.
Yeah.
And the acting isn't poor.
Yeah, it's
and most
surprisingly
acting.
okay.
But you got a couple big stars, and then you've got a good supporting cast around it, and so I thought it was enjoyable. The movie was a little long for me, but it was entertaining. But it was
Yeah.
almost in 2 different parts. I thought, like the last big scene, I felt like that was really long for whatever reason.
I agree, because I feel like when they do when they save her
Yeah,
from the plant, I was like, oh, this is the end. And then, like,
Yeah.
sitting there, I was like, wait a minute, I remember in the
yeah,
trailers,
the
there's
whole
another scene.
the whole
And so I
Hawaii
was
or
like, oh, there's another
The,
25
the Isle of
minutes.
Samoa, where
Which
they
is-
just go to war.
Yeah, which
and I'm
is
like,
fine.
yeah, all right.
It was a cool scene. I'm not
I thought
complaining
it was
about it,
fun,
but
but, like-
it was a little long. But I mean, I'm gonna buy the movie when it comes out, so it's whatever. So
I mean, like, I have 2 ratings for it. I would say as a Fast and Furious, where we are now, over the top action film, it's like an 8 or a 9.
yeah.
If you sit down, turn off your brain, just have fun.
Mhm.
And I would say that's a 9. If it was just a regular old movie, kind of
Yeah.
on the block,
If
I would
it
say like a
was a
7.
If this wasn't
4.
called Fast and Furious, or if they weren't tied to that
Yeah.
universe, and I had no prior knowledge to it,
Yeah.
I would say this is like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun, but you're like, this is weird and like, why is this
if,
like
if
this?
somebody had no idea
How are
and
they
just randomly,
driving like this?
You're like,
How is he alive?
yeah,
Why can The Rock punch so hard?
That is my favorite part of the whole movie. Is
Like,
when he
who
goes
is
to
this
punch
guy?
at Idris Elba and like the thing in his eye just scans like the threat and like the number for pounds of force just keeps going up as the fist gets closer to his face and it's like over like 1,500 before it even collides. And I'm like, I
But
can believe that The Rock punched that hard.
I liked it, and it was fun. It was funny. Had some serious. It had a good. I think it had a good mix of
Yeah.
everything too. So.
I actually bought the fact that they became friends by the end of the movie.
Yeah, I thought it was more his arc was better in this than it was in 8.
Yeah.
Outside of just saving Dom's family, so Dom's
Right,
like,
I was like,
now hold
okay.
on, I still think there should be justice for Han. Which the crazy conspiracy theory is that Han is
is
alive,
alive.
That-
and they'll fight him in 9.
So someone leaked out something about Han. He's definitely in the script, but that's all I've like. There wasn't too much on there. They said that they're pretty sure that there's
Han has
something.
been brought back
He's
from
he's
the
trapped on
dead.
he's trapped on the moon.
My crazy
We gotta go rescue
conspiracy
Han.
is that Han and Giselle. I
Yeah,
was like, Giselle is are still alive, and they're gonna be like a Bonnie and Clyde duo that are controlled by. And it's been a month.
Literally,
since I've seen the whole movie.
it's literally the same plot as
Hobbs and Shaw,
Hobbs and
but
Shaw.
but it's family, so they can't they won't kill them. They won't
We
hurt
can't
them.
kill my family.
It's the plot of Fate of the Furious, but they're superpowered now instead. But overall, I enjoyed the film. But like I said, it's
Dom will just beat them with a pipe wrench and we'll be fine.
the street always wins. But yeah, so let's get into all the D23 stuff.
That Star Wars trailer spot.
Which one? There's 2 Star Wars trailers.
The one for the movie. It was really good. I got really much more excited for the movie than I thought I was. Because I even said on this podcast, I'm not as excited for Star Wars this year. And then that trailer for Rise of the Skywalker came out, and we saw Rey at the end, and I was like, oh, I'm so down for this.
So my opinion on the trailer, I wasn't actually. It didn't give me the goosebumps. I wasn't as excited for it. I'm having some serious issues morally right now with being excited with Star Wars.
Morally.
Morally, I should be. But I don't know. And then they teased the whole her going to the dark side weird thing.
I
It's
have
probably
a theory.
some sort of clone
That's what I was
thing
about
with
to say.
Palpatine or Vision, whatever. It's probably one of those
Well, I
two.
mean, it would explain why she just sees a bunch of herself in
And the
Last Jedi.
when she goes
You
to the
could,
hole
you
and all
could
that.
fix Last Jedi in a sense. I don't think Last Jedi is bad. I think it has a lot of issues.
Well, there's a lot of potential loose ties.
Right, yeah.
And if they don't get addressed, you're right. Then the whole it really
I
Man,
said
it
when we
just-
saw that first trailer when Kylo was welding his helmet back together, I was like, "This is J.J. Abrams' metaphor for fixing this franchise after Last Jedi."
that's kind of funny.
There's also been a lot of talks of how long the runtime of the movie. Just
3.5 hours.
is that this year there's been 3 movies with almost 3 hours or 3-hour runtimes, and I would totally be okay with.
Well,
Right,
it's
yeah, Skywalker
see,
being-
and my thing is I don't want them to rush trying to tie this all
Yeah.
in. So you
How long
want
was
them
Last
to go
Jedi, though?
long,
2 hours.
2.5.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
30 more minutes wouldn't be the end of the world.
no, but it depends on
When
what
you have
the
a conclusion,
subplots are.
and if they're really ending the whole Skywalker saga, I mean, I'd rather them make sure that everything gets tied in.
Right, and that's why I almost think that it's going to endgame it and be a 3-hour runtime.
Probably.
Or 2 hours and 15 minutes and then 10 minutes of. But anyway, the trailer itself, I liked it. There are, it's not. I still don't really know what's going on based off the trailers. I've heard some leaks.
Kill Finn.
Take it all as I will. Shut up. But I think the trailer was decent itself. I liked it. I liked the shot of them fighting.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
with
that
the
shot
water.
with the
Yeah.
water and everything.
Yeah.
I
Which,
saw a meme that was like, "Hey, bro, can I copy your homework? Sure, just don't
and
make it too obvious."
when
and
they're on
it's
Mustafar,
and
yeah,
it's,
and with Obi-Wan and
yeah, I was
Anakin,
like, "That's
yeah.
pretty funny."
That's almost exactly when I first saw it. That's exactly what I thought of
Yeah.
too. So I don't know. I just don't feel right about it.
I think it's gonna be I compare these to the Call of Duty effect, of where
You just ruined it even more.
hold on, where everyone bashes Call of Duty. There's always this cycle of everyone buys it, plays it, bashes it,
And then buys the next one.
starts getting hyped, buys the next one, and it's just an endless cycle.
It's a
always
horrible
gonna be that
cycle.
way.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that way.
Yeah.
But like some of the Call of Duties are good, and some of them are bad.
Yeah.
Like this Modern Warfare could be really good, and so like it could
From
be
what
like,
I've played, it's good.
could be like the Rise of Skywalker, where in the cycle it's the good one.
Okay.
Who knows? But that's how I feel about it.
Well,
'cause,
this
like,
is a movie franchise that's limited to what they can do to a gaming, which they can have jetpacks and do whatever the crap they want. And
well,
Let's move
wow,
on.
now it's
Mandalorian looks great.
Now hold on, we gotta do this in order. Quit ruining this. So we're gonna do this in order of announcements from how Disney did it. So we're gonna start at the beginning.
Fine.
Disney Plus again announced their bundle for $13,
fantastic deal.
which is
Getting it.
ESPN, Hulu with ads, and Disney Plus.
I
Great.
wonder if they'll make a version where
Sign
you
me
can
up.
pay like $1 more to get Hulu without it.
Yeah, I'd pay.
Sign me
I'd pay
Yeah,
15
sign me
for
up.
Hulu without
Whatever.
it.
Have $40. I don't care. Just give us.
I don't think I would do 40.
Just it doesn't matter. We're all gonna buy it anyways.
Well,
Good
I
job,
would buy
Disney.
for ESPN alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll even.
It's that is very irrelevant to me. It's, the whole ESPN thing. I did a thing with ESPN for like a few months, like $4.99. That was the worst thing, the worst offer combo deal I've ever seen in my life. I didn't get to watch any games that I wanted to do. Like it was just they pick random things. I'm like, I don't want to watch tennis at
That's
like
weird.
10 a.m. in the morning. Like they're
You're
expanding
gonna watch
it a
tennis
little bit
and
better.
you are gonna like it.
So yeah, it was. I canceled it pretty quickly.
You're gonna respect all sports, Ryan.
Okay,
It's
so
not
right,
that you don't.
But yeah,
want to,
Disney Plus looks.
so
really
right out of the
good.
gate was Marvel. They walked up. They reconfirmed. They added Sharon Carter will be in
Yeah.
the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
They added another cast member and confirmed that Zemo will be back as the villain.
Yeah, and they showed him with the mask.
Yeah, the only footage of this thing that came out was Zemo
Mm-hmm.
in the mask talking because I think they're getting ready to film. Right after that was WandaVision. Confirmed Darcy and
Yeah, that's really weird.
the agent from Ant-Man and the Wasp are coming back, which
I don't know how Darcy's gonna play into that.
I think this show is going to be much more comedic and then slowly take a dark turn
Mhm.
of where the end of it, this is a world Wanda's created in her head.
Well, I mean, it ties directly into
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, multiverse madness. So
And so I think at the end of it, it's going to do with like her imploding and creating the multiverse.
Yeah.
Like,
Doctor
Opening
Strange
the
is gonna be
multiverse.
like, "Oh crap!" And
I gotta
he's
go
gonna,
fix this,
he's gonna
yeah.
warp over there and be like, "Yeah, we can't have you doing this. You got to stop."
right after that would have been what's that show? Zach, what else is coming out? The
Hawkeye.
It wasn't Hawkeye. Is Loki. They confirmed
Loki.
it's going to be 6 episodes. Each episode will be a different time period, but this does take place in the timeline after.
Loki's
How
still
did
successful
it mention how long the episodes were?
An
I'm
hour.
assuming an hour.
Probably 44 minutes. So they said
Yeah.
6 episodes total. What was right after that? There was one more Marvel show. Was before they did the announcements. Maybe they didn't. Maybe that was it. Now, am I crazy? There's one more show.
Hawkeye, Moon Knight.
It was before Moon Knight. So in order of release, it's Miss Marvel.
Oh, She-Hulk.
I'm gonna kill you.
No, I really don't know. I'm just trying to remember all the shows.
There's only
announced.
4 shows.
Maybe it is only 4. We talked about it on that one episode. That we
Yeah,
did
I
together.
remember that's what I'm saying. Anyway, but so then they announced, of course, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, and She-Hulk, which in order it's Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and then She-Hulk.
Yeah.
They did not confirm if this is Phase 4 or 5, but the picture they had there was Phase 4.
Yeah.
So people are thinking that Phase 4 is going to go into 2022, which we'll get to in a minute or later when they announce a movie for Phase 4.
Yeah.
After that, they did a bunch of trailers. We had the Lady and the Tramp trailer.
Yeah,
which-
that's a launch movie, isn't it?
Yes. So these next things we're talking about are all day 1, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
or at least in the first month. So Lady and the Tramp. I thought the trailer looked good.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like the old Air Bud movies.
Yeah. It looked weird. Like
I
how,
think it'll be fine. Like
I don't. Lady and the Tramp is
is
just just an old movie I haven't seen in a long time. So
it's
just
one of
like
those movies that I forget about.
yeah.
To be completely honest, it's not like a Disney classic.
It's a
where I'm
cool
like, I want to watch
it's
that.
a cool bring back to live version, but
Yeah.
it may be just
I think it actually.
it's not like like a Lion King or a Jungle Book kind of thing,
Yeah.
where we are a lot more involved with, and some other people may be interested in
But
that.
like
a
with
little
how
more,
old it is, I do think it's one of those ones that remaking it actually helps the original, because I do feel like while the original is a good movie, it's one of those Disney movies I don't feel like is talked about as much. Like the only thing I think people remember from Lady and the Tramp is the spaghetti scene, like when they eat spaghetti, and that's it. Like I can't.
I don't remember the plot at all to it.
Well,
We are Siamese.
Okay, I do remember that now. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, I got kind of emotional during the trailer, but at the same time I was
It's
like,
a film about doggos falling.
but I
in
was
love,
like, I
and
don't
doesn't
remember
work.
anything about this movie.
Exactly.
I'm crying, but I don't know why I'm crying.
It's because it's dogs, and you love dogs.
That's true.
That's exactly it. You know.
So next one we'll do is Noelle, which is their Bill Hader and Anna Kendrick movie that's launching same day. It's about Kris Kringle's daughter is in the full Christmas spirit and holiday fun, but wishes she could do something important, like her beloved brother Nick, who will take over the family, take over their father's role this Christmas. When Nick is about to crumble, she suggests he take a break, and he doesn't come back. So it's her goal to go find basically the next Santa, go find her brother, who's now in like our
He's
world.
Santa in training.
Yeah, and bring him back because he doesn't want to be Santa. It looks fine.
Yeah.
That sounds cute for a Christmas movie.
I would never pay to see this in theaters, but being that if I wait
What
till
if it's critically acclaimed?
then we'll see. But
Critically acclaimed. Okay.
You don't know.
But I would
Zach's
watch
calling
it.
it.
I would watch it
Stranger
like
things have happened.
a couple weeks later in December when I'm like, man, I need a new Christmas movie to watch because
Yeah.
I watch a bunch.
The
So,
Hallmark Channel's just not doing it
it
anymore.
looks
for
better
me.
than that freaking Last Christmas with Emilia Clarke.
Yeah.
That movie looks bad. Like I finally
Yeah.
saw the trailer. We saw the trailer for that yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah,
I was like,
didn't
this
look that good.
sucks.
So
I was like,
Christmas
"Ah."
movies are really interesting to me because we're in September and we're getting Christmas stuff, and I get really just
You-
turned off by
You
that.
can go into Walmart right now and probably start to find Christmas decorations because it's the 8th. No, they've got about
3 more weeks.
not even 3 weeks. September 24th was the day of hell when they told me to
What
set
if?
up all the
Gosh
Christmas.
dang it, I was right. There was one more. Sorry.
When they had me set up all the Christmas trees when I worked at Walmart my first year, it was September 24th. I'll never forget.
So I did miss something.
Because I
What
heard
if
Frosty the Snowman on the radio.
confirm the animation style they showed, and then confirm the first 3 episodes, which is T'Challa being the one kidnapped taken instead of Star-Lord or Peter Quill.
Oh, really?
Like
That's interesting.
He's Star-Lord. T'Challa is.
That's kind of cool.
There's a zombie Cap versus Winter Soldier, and then what if Peggy Carter became Captain Britain?
Yeah.
Is what she becomes. Sorry, so that was the only other one I missed from the announcements.
What's that second one? Zombie Cat?
Zombie Cap versus Winter Soldier.
How is that gonna work?
They said
What
there'll
is
be
Zombie Cat?
there'll be a movie or an episode per movie. So there's 23 episodes planned right now, and they'll do one new episode every time a movie comes out. Sorry, that
Okay.
was just the only thing I missed. I wanted.
The one that interests me the most out of all of those is T'Challa being taken instead of Peter Quill. That sounds really cool.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him as Star-Lord.
Everyone's returning who's like played the official role,
Like they're doing the voice.
except Chris Evans and Downey have not confirmed if they would take it back.
Well,
But so anyway, the next trailer was The World According to Jeff Goldblum. Looks great. I don't know.
I'm
I was
interested.
so excited for this show.
I'm interested.
I honestly, if they were like, hey, we're doing the life of Jeff Goldblum, and you're like, here's a 30-minute episode every day, dedicated every
It's
day.
It's
Jeff
just eating
Goldblum.
him like a bowl of cereal.
Hey, I would watch it.
Yeah, honestly, if they were just like, here's Goldblum doing weird things.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that Tommy Wiseau YouTube series called Tommy Explains It All, but it's just with Jeff Goldblum, and I love it.
And I like Jeff Goldblum more.
Yes.
But
I
I
think
think it
everyone
looks
does.
interesting. I could be totally wrong. It could end up being like terrible. But if they let Goldblum be
I don't see
Himself.
it being bad.
Yeah.
And if he's just going around, just like
commenting on
checking
I think
out
Goldblum's
things or whatever.
charismatic enough to carry a show on his own. Like, he'll be fine.
as long as they let Goldblum do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's like his personality. Like I don't feel like he is like really that good at like anything. He just has a good personality.
Well, a lot of people would argue, and
I think it's
That-
because of how weird and quirky he is. that
when
people-
Goldblum started early in his career, he was a huge sex icon.
Well,
Right.
yeah,
And so, like,
it's
But it's just that like charisma he still has from
Yeah.
that. But now his
He's
age
just
body,
old.
and so it's like he still kind of has that.
Yeah.
But it's
Everybody
like,
just pictures him laying on the back of that Humvee in Jurassic Park with his shirt open, and
Yeah.
that's all everybody sees.
Yeah.
And he's made a career out of that.
so I think the show looks interesting. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens. The next other trailer was, and I hate this name, High School Musical, the series. Worst name ever.
What's
Great
the
idea
acronym
of the
for
show.
that?
I'm gonna let him go. But so like, do you know the premise?
Yeah.
I think the idea of it could be really cool, but I think I would rather this than 4. I would rather have this than High School Musical 4. If we're just being honest, I know
Do you
it's gonna give me
think that
a
you'll
lot
get-
of hate from a lot of people, but I would rather.
What? So what?
Do you think you'll get cameos from people from the original cast, like as teachers or stuff?
No, because
Zac Efron just comes back as a
Yeah,
teacher.
whatever.
I
Who
wouldn't be
cares?
surprised if they reappear, because you gotta know that. So the base of this series is that the high school where they filmed High School Musical has never put on the High School musical.
Really?
And so, well, that's the premise of the series.
Okay.
It's so,
So,
weird.
It's shot like The Office,
Oh, I love that.
and so
That's great.
it's I think it's I don't know how many episodes it is, but it's
Probably like
here.
6.
6 or 8.
I
I think
can't
they said
imagine
that's
it
what
being that
I think they
long.
said no series will have over 8 episodes. So I guess maybe 8 episodes, and it's based on like them like it's from concept to them performing
Uh-huh.
High School Musical, the musical.
Mhm. I think that's a actually really funny idea. I don't know how I feel about the name.
It's a terrible name, but I get it.
High School Musical, the series.
Oh no,
Super Saiyan
this
God
says 10
Blue
episodes.
Super Saiyan.
This one says 10.
Oh.
Oh no, wait. Yes.
We're
No, this is
all in
combining
this
2 things.
together.
Okay, no. The 10 episode scripted series, High School Musical, the series set. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They did also announce a finishing for a movie, which I don't know if that's launching same day. There was no trailer.
That sounds great.
Basically, like a wrap up of the series,
I would love that.
because they gave that like the future look,
Yeah.
but I think they want to give like a final closure. Of,
I would like for Perry and Doofenshmirtz to
be
reconcile and be friends.
friends.
And for summer vacation to end and then go back to school.
They also
It ends on a
announced
somber note.
Forky Ask Questions. They're going to be shorts, like 5 minutes.
That sounds great.
Forky from Toy Story 4.
I think that's
just answering things.
perfect.
Kind of like at the end of the movie where she's like, "Why do we exist?" And he's like, "I don't know."
Yeah, no, I think that's honestly great. They don't need to be long. And no, the shorter you keep them, the more.
He has his own movie.
No, like the shorter you keep them, the more fun they'll be for when they come out. Because I've got 5 minutes, I can watch a quick little Toy Story short, like versus trying to be like I've got to watch a full hour of this or however long. Like, and you will because it's Toy Story, but like you can binge them so much quicker with the Forky Ask a Question, and they can really just expand on like why toys come to life, and I think that's a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
3 other things we're gonna hit really quick. 4 or 5 actually. Just kidding. These were all quick shows or movies that were announced during D23. A lot of these are based on book series. Timothy Failures, Mistakes Were Made is based on a book series where he's a detective and has a polar bear as a sidekick. So it has a lot of deadpan humor, launching in early 2020. It's directed by an award-winning filmmaker, but doesn't give a name.
Steven.
Stargirl's based on a book series. Don't really know what it's about, but it's also coming there. A spin-off of Diary of a Wimpy Kid called Diary of a Female President, I think is what it is. Togo, which I don't know what it is, but it has William Dafoe in it.
Sign me up.
I love Willem Dafoe.
Trying to see who else in this. There's a lot of people in this, but I don't really recognize many of the names.
I
It's
wish he could
based
play Joker.
An untold true story, and it is exhilarating and uplifting, based in the winter of 1925, based in Alaska. So I don't know, could be. And then where'd that film go? Monsters at Work, is the sequel. So have you heard the premise of this?
No,
So
not really.
So it's kind of funny. So it's based on Aisha Tyler and Ben Findelman. Their characters finish at the university,
Mm-hmm.
and they graduate the university the same day that Sully and them take over Monsters Inc. and change it to Laugh instead of
Oh.
Scares. And so it's them trying to adjust with, they just spent 4 years of their life
That's amazing.
being these scare, like,
Yeah.
they're both like the valedictorians and stuff, like
Mhm.
majoring in their scare, like, degree. And
That's
then
a
go
great
into this.
premise.
Yeah, and so they said it's going to be shot like The Office, but they'll be the main characters. They'll be like the focus, but you'll see Sully and Mike kind of be throughout. I assume it's because They don't
John
want to like
Goodman
rely
and-
on John Goodman
and
and
Billy Crystal.
yeah, and so you can have like more characters.
Speaking of
feature-wise.
John Goodman, he has aged so bad in the last like 4 or 5 years. I was just talking
he's
about that
gotten
yesterday.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't miss one announcement because of course we'd be beat down. Lizzie McGuire returns. Of course,
Yeah,
like
so-
I heard.
It's her as like a 30-year-old.
Yeah, well, it's her as a millennial in New York. She still has the 13-year-old version that talks to her.
Oh God.
It's gonna look exactly like it did back then. I heard this was the second biggest cheer of the night, and we'll get to the first one in a minute. But like, was like the loudest like the audience was when Hilary Duff walked on stage before they announced the Lizzie McGuire show. Everyone just like freaking out, and then like as they were like announcing it, it just got louder to the point where like you couldn't even hear the sound system.
Everybody wants
I mean,
Lizzie McGuire
that's
to
a
come
big
back.
gap in time for you to come back as something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that show wasn't that
They
bad,
should
and
bring
Hilary
back
Duff's
Even
one of the
Stevens.
only sane, famous people from that time that's like still doing okay.
I can't think of many Disney stars that ended up being okay, but Hilary Duff is one of them.
They did also announce at some point, and I didn't see them talk about it here, which was weird. But when they were previewing Disney Plus, like if you go watch their video of like showing what the interface looks
That's
like,
so
it's Raven Comes Home.
Yeah,
or Raven's
Raven
Home,
Come-
and I was
yeah.
like, why not talk about that? You know, that's how Raven.
It probably hasn't. It was just started in the works, maybe.
But like, why not just address like, hey, these are all the people coming back.
Oh.
This is what the plot
Maybe they
is.
don't. Maybe they don't.
Well, I mean, they filmed something because like
Yeah, I guess.
they have like
That's
some
kinda
footage
true.
they showed during the stuff. So
Yeah.
like, it was just weird. It was just an odd thing. I don't know if I like it. That's how Raven's kind of hit or miss with me. I like Corey in the House much more,
Yeah.
even though Corey in the House is like such a joke.
Corey in the
Now,
House is great.
because of like the internet.
the internet memes.
But let's hit the three that Ryan and probably most of us care about. Kind of the Marvel shows are great. I can't wait to see what they do.
Oh yeah.
But season 7 of Clone Wars officially
Oh.
premiering in 2020. With the last 12 episodes, this is the final season from my understanding and from what everyone has said. I guess we could see.
It's gonna get good. like,
But
I'm excited for it.
I feel like the final episode
I'm-
is going to lead directly into Revenge of the Sith. I feel like it has to. Like the Chancellor being kidnapped and everything.
Maybe.
Like it, or it'll
could be like I mean,
it'll
it's
at least allude to it. I think.
could be like them getting in the starships or in the ships to go fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff. Honestly, I'd be kind of okay with that.
Yeah. because
and then and then the whole turn and everything.
because I don't
Order
think you
66.
see. I don't think you see.
It'd be
anything
interesting if they just
Darth
ended
Vader
at Order 66.
Well, I don't think they
Yeah.
should go into
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
at
release
all.
it at all. I think they need to just cut it right at
Like right before.
yeah. And
So
even and like,
my only thing would be is like from their perspective, like just depending on how they go with it. I mean, you could twist it into like a little bit,
Yeah.
which because you wouldn't see everything that's going on in Revenge
My
of the
question
Sith.
is, how big of a role do you think that like Ahsoka is going to play?
they said Ahsoka will be back on a big role.
Yeah,
Um,
because I know that she left the Order in season 5.
they did release a trailer for season 7 a while ago.
Yeah.
They did have Anakin and Obi-Wan walking in and seeing that they're like, hey, we need like you're gonna want to come see this, and it's Ahsoka talking and be like, hey, I need help or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm interested to see what they do
Yeah.
with it, but okay. All right, let's
Mandalorian.
keep going here.
That
The
looks.
next one.
It looks really good.
Yeah, I like the trailer a lot.
Yeah.
I think they said it was what, like 10 million an episode or something like that.
Yeah, it's something. It's
They've
that or
put a lot of
12
money
It's
towards
like the
it.
most expensive series they're doing
at the moment.
at the moment. Yeah.
My thing is, my Star Wars hype for right now is just kind of low. Besides, we'll get to it, but I could see this going either way at this point. It looks good, but I feel like it's kind of being deceiving but it may not be. It may be really good, but
It's
I
like-
want to see a little bit more before I.
This series takes place after Return of the Jedi, correct?
Yes, this is
Yeah.
the first thing that takes place in between that 40-year gap
Mhm.
between
Yeah.
the two.
So it's
So like the universe is just like, or
it's
the galaxy. I mean, it's like in just total.
but we
anarchy,
don't know too much
basically.
more past that. So
Just whenever the trailer's shown,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then IG-11 is played by Taika Waititi.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
like
that's-
which everyone thought was 88. That's the only.
So
reason I'm bringing it up.
I want to hear a little bit more before I say too much, but it looked good.
The last thing from the Disney Plus panel, outside of them announcing that, of course, there's going to be like 5,000 episodes available and then like 120 Disney Channel original shows, was Ewan McGregor walked on stage and confirmed they're finally that everyone had heard
Yeah.
about for weeks.
Yeah.
unfortunately, but
I
that
almost cried.
he is returning for Obi-Wan, and they're doing an Obi-Wan TV show.
I'm so happy that it's a TV show and not movies because
And it was 8 years after
I think they said it's 8 years after
Luke
Revenge
was
of the Sith.
Luke was born. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, so if you look at the timeline thing they have, it takes place during Solo, so everyone thinks so. What's going to happen is this season 1 is going to have some of the elements of what Solo 2 and 3 were going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and so because I think Obi-Wan was going to be a film,
yeah.
I think they assigned Obi-Wan. I think they assigned Ewan McGregor on again, like, 2 or 3 years ago.
And they were like, well, we got to do something with this.
But then they did Solo, and they were like, well, Solo didn't do great, and so they were like, maybe we're not going to do movies, and they were trying to figure out.
But if there was an Obi-Wan film, dude, I don't care. They would have gotten enough ticket sales before anybody watched it.
I think they're building towards another Darth Maul fight.
I do too.
Well, that's if they didn't have a Darth Maul fight.
I think it'll just be Rebels again. But
yeah, but
like
I think
more
that
like
we'll get an actual like showdown versus like the ending fight that they got on Tatooine.
yeah.
Because I think what they do in Rebels is perfect, but I would like to see them fight again and maybe not have like an actual winner and then be like, this is what happened in Rebels. Darth Maul finds him on Tatooine and goes to kill him.
Maybe. I'm curious to see
I
what
guess
they
they
do.
could lightly retcon that, but I really liked that episode.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I'm super excited for it. This first season probably won't have any of that, so you're just speculating.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's a
It's
lot
gonna
of
take a
build up
while.
and maybe seasons before we.
Mhm.
I just want a nice story-driven
Yeah.
about Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Because he is my favorite. I think he's most people's
He's
favorite.
he's
Yeah.
my favorite character.
I want
of
to
the whole Star Wars
find out
universe.
like how Obi-Wan reacts to certain things, like learning that Anakin is still alive and stuff like that, because like he doesn't know
Yeah.
until much later. So like I want to see like what causes Owen and Beru to not trust Obi-Wan. Like,
well, and it's like even the
stuff
whole
like that.
communication with Qui-Gon Jinn.
yeah,
They-
like that's
they,
the thing
They
that they're
tease
gonna
that at the end of
tease.
Revenge of the Sith, and Yoda's like, "I can
Yeah, I
teach
was
you,"
I
and
was
then
talking
he's
about
like,
that.
"Really?"
I was talking about that. I think a few nights ago at work, just about how like Liam Neeson could very well at least appear as a voice in the show or as a ghost.
Just as the Force goes.
Yeah, because he was supposed to in Revenge of the Sith, but he couldn't because he was in like a motorcycle accident. Or something.
Liam just literally narrates the whole show.
But I'm super excited for that. I think that we might even see flashbacks to like a even younger Obi-Wan, like him training as a Jedi and just
Or get Hayden back.
like like him reminiscing about like how the Jedi have fallen and stuff because like he's
It's just
going-
Clone Wars live action.
Dude,
just going through a
I
bunch of
want that so
trauma.
bad. I do.
Clone
I
Wars
do.
live action. That would be
Oh my
cool.
gosh. Or even just an old Republic.
Now, I wouldn't. So here's the thing with you. I mean, they're doing another set of trilogy Star Wars movies starting in
Yeah.
2021
Ryan Johnson is so
or 22.
connected to that, right? Or is that?
We actually don't know who's doing.
Yeah, I don't
Oh
think
no,
we've heard anything.
Ryan
about it.
Johnson's trilogy was confirmed, but they said that they were doing 2 different trilogies. I think, right?
We don't know.
Like
So here's what I expect's happening is that we only know. So what they're doing is a Star Wars movie and an Avatar movie every other year.
yeah.
I think. I don't know. We'll see. I have a lot of. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept doing that and just made more Avatar movies, and just kept doing that. But we'll see.
If they can make
Or
the money that they expect them to.
yeah, we'll find out in a couple of years, I guess. Or
I've
probably
actually
next Star Wars Celebration. It's 2021, right? Is
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
the Live Nation starts.
I've been really curious about Avatar and whether or not it can live up to the hype of its second movie.
I doubt it, but
I don't either. Like I just don't think that people are going to be as like nostalgic for that movie.
I hope not. I hope. I mean, like I don't like the first one, but
I'm not a big fan.
But Obi-Wan, super excited about.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I imagine at Star Wars Celebration in April, we'll probably hear a little bit more.
Mhm.
Probably nothing crazy.
Have a thing about where Obi-Wan has to go and like rescue Luke from being captured by like
I don't want
Tusken
that.
Raiders.
I don't want him interacting with Luke at all. I don't want any. Of
Really?
That. I don't want any of that. I want it to be.
Because I mean, Luke knows who Old Ben is, though.
he knows who Ben is.
Right. He
I'm
doesn't
okay
know that
with
he's
him like
Obi-Wan.
meeting.
Yeah,
once.
but I don't think they're. I mean, most of the storyline, he's not interacting with Luke. I mean,
Yeah.
Right,
he's
but
just
I want-
he's
I want-
literally just from a distance making sure he's.
I
I want-
just want it to be like maybe like people start to discover, hey, there might be a Jedi here, and like
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's just like it's him like avoiding people and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe having to take out a few people, maybe doing things that Obi-Wan wouldn't have done when the Jedi Order existed.
He has a little bit of
Yeah.
a darker.
Yeah, I mean he
kinda-
has to because it's like
Yeah.
survival. It's
Yeah.
no longer.
I don't know.
I mean, like I don't want them to ruin Obi-Wan's character,
Yeah.
but I want them to do stuff.
It'd be
where-
really cool if like Yoda made appearances, which I guess that would side plot a little bit, but
I mean,
like
I
he's
can-
talking
I
to him
can see
basically.
Obi-Wan leaving the planet to go do something. Like, I don't know if he would.
Yeah.
But, like, they could set it up to be something like a big deal, like the Empire is going to, like, make a base on Tatooine, so he's like, I gotta ruin these plans, like,
Yeah,
right
see,
now.
the
Like, they
only
could go in any
the only
direction
thing I was a
with it.
little disappointed maybe is that they're using him for this like storyline. So if he has a darker side and there's a pretty healthy story, I just don't want there to be a lack of story, meaning that it's a little bit just there's not enough going on
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Which
I think
I
that we're
feel
gonna
like
get-
that's a very dry time for them, and they have a lot of options to. I mean, there's just not that
Right.
much like storyline.
Yeah. Now, granted, I think whenever we're starting to hear what this is, because they didn't say anything.
Yeah.
They're just like, Ewan McGregor's returning for an Obi-Wan show. That's it.
Yeah.
So once we start to know plot, I think it'll be easier to be like, well, here's what I think's going to happen and judge it.
Yeah.
But based off of just what we know, I mean, we can speculate.
The
all
timetable fits with his age though too, so that helps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So moving into the movies, we'll hit everything real quick because they really didn't announce anything big. Black Panther 2 was announced.
Yeah.
Official release date, which this is what caught me off guard, was May 6, 2022.
Yeah.
Giving it the May release date, not the February, which my crazy conspiracy theory is that Spider-Man could be in that February if he comes back.
Maybe.
If not, it's Fantastic Four. That's my like bets.
I think you're probably safer betting on Fantastic Four at this point.
I think if by next Comic-Con they haven't announced Spider-Man coming back, they'll announce Fantastic Four for the 2022 release date.
Yeah.
They did not, and they said Black Panther 2 is not the name. So
Black
here's
Panther 2 Wakanda Boogaloo.
oh shit.
No,
It's
you thought
probably-
that was funny a month ago.
It's probably Black Panther 2 Kings, and you're gonna have Namor,
Oh yeah. that's
which has been
probably-
like the biggest rumor.
Well, I mean, they kind of reference Namor a little bit in
In
Endgame when she's like, "It's an underwater earthquake.
Yeah.
We don't handle it." Like,
So that's what a lot of people think is that's gonna be called 2 Kings. That way, it's still Black Panther 2, but
Yeah.
you know, in this sense, which would be great. I think sorry, I was looking at this next thing. I think Namor is a great character, but
yeah,
we'll see. I think what would be awesome is in Fantastic Four if they could like hint at him because he first appears in Fantastic Four,
yeah.
and then lead into
Black
him
Panther.
and Black Panther being a villain. Next thing was Eternals. They announced they had added 2 more cast members, which were Kit Harington and Jimmy Chang.
Yeah, I'm excited for Kit Harington to be in there.
Kit will be playing a more human role.
Yeah. Well, I just want him to get more work, you know, because I know that some of us don't like Game of Thrones as much as when it ended, but like I think that he's a really good actor. So
This
him
will-
getting the work and recognition in a series as big as the MCU is, I think, really cool.
Yeah,
And I think it just draws more attention to Eternals, which is something that a lot of people don't know about. Same with, like, I think Angelina Jolie is attached to that project.
she is. So is Richard Madden,
Mhm.
Camille Najani, Lauren Riddoff,
Right.
Brian
Like,
Therese Henry. There's like a huge list.
they're
It's like a
putting,
huge
they're putting
cast.
some names that people recognize to, I think, get people interested in going because, like, there's a whole lot there that, like, people don't know anything about them. I think the same thing with Guardians, which is why they casted somebody like Chris Pratt and Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper. Those are names that people recognize. They're like, oh, I'll go see that. So I think it's kind of the same thing. So I'm happy for Kit.
Yeah, they did Black Widow. They talked about, which comes out before, of course. They confirmed officially and showed the first footage of David Harbour, who will be playing basically the Russian Captain America.
Yeah.
And then they showed more footage of Taskmaster, which people think there's a female actor who I can't find. I think it's she was in The Favorite or The Favorite, whatever however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Rachel Wise. They think she's playing Taskmaster, and then
Mhm.
they're going to reveal it's a girl or a woman, which will be interesting. That was it. They showed more footage. Florence Pugh, which nobody else saw Midsummer in here somewhere. She's rumored to be playing a girl that she plays a character that
the
takes
new Black
over
Widow, yeah.
as a new Black Widow. So everyone thinks so. What this movie's doing is setting up
Transition.
their relationship and
Yeah.
transitioning her which would be awesome. She's a great actress. She was great in that movie.
Yeah.
So I'd be really curious to see her like continue the role.
Mm-hmm.
Then they did something really weird. They did Jungle Cruise, but they did 2 trailers. They did a trailer from the perspective of The Rock, and they did a trailer from the perspective of Emily Blunt. Because The Rock came out on a boat, like an actual boat. They wheeled it out all the way onto the set, on the stage. Yeah. It was, I guess it was like one of the coolest, weirdest things. And then Emily came out like a motorcycle. And like the trailer, like both of them like joke about how they're the damsel, like basically Rock says Emily is, and she says that The Rock is. And so like, I heard the trailer's interesting. It was kind of weird to like get a full judgment because there were 2 colliding trailers, and you're like, what is this exactly?
I'll watch anything with The Rock in it at this point.
I'll save this for after we get through all the movies.
Maleficent had more screen time. Nobody cares. Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't think it looks good, but
I didn't.
I haven't seen the first one in years, so
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Mulan was shown. Everyone said it looked phenomenal. They said
excited.
Even the abundance of music and all that, it still looked great. Which I'm more excited. I watched Mulan a couple days ago, and I was sitting there and I was like, man, I am more excited for the live action one now that I've like let this all settle, because as much as I love the music, I almost would love to see a epic tale of Mulan, of like the action, the story of everything, her, and all this. I think it would be so cool. I get it. There's gonna be hate. I honestly don't know.
There's no Mushu.
If honestly watching it, you could remove Mushu and not much changes.
Has changed.
Right,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I rewatched it like 2 months ago, and I was like, Mushu is just.
And Mushu is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I like him, but I think he's a little annoying.
You might have to cut that part out.
And he's a villain in the second movie.
I guess that's true. Wait, no, I haven't seen Mulan.
And so
I know
he's
the
not-
plot,
it's
but
not
like,
I don't
out
even
of-
remember Mulan 2,
It's
to be
not out
honest.
of character. Oh, he doesn't want to lose his job, so he breaks up Mulan and Shang, because when she gets married, his guardians take over,
Oh.
and so he's like, "Well, I'm the guardian of this," and they're like, "Well, he won't be anymore once," which doesn't make sense because he'd still be the guardians of the
of the father.
of the
the
father
whole-
and the
yeah.
rest of them, but not Mulan. So it's like so he breaks them up, and all this. It's so weird. He basically causes like the princesses of the emperor to get kidnapped and all this stuff.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's weird. It's bad. It's a bad movie. But
I
honestly,
haven't
though,
seen it.
rewatching Mulan 1, outside of losing Mecha Man, I'm totally okay with losing Mushu. Like, he's good, but what was on next? Cruella just had
That
an image
seems interesting.
with Emma Stone, the dogs, and then the 2 characters. One of them is the guy from I, Tonya, if either one of you have seen that.
I haven't, but I know who.
You
you're
remember?
talking
Did you see I, Tonya?
I don't think so.
about. I've been meaning to watch.
It's really good. There's basically the fat friend. That sounds bad.
Oh, yeah.
But he's playing the fatter, like,
Yeah.
henchman. Then they did Pixar really quick, which we're going to do in a different order. Soul is a new film coming out next July. This is the second original movie. It's basically about soul music in a sense.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out like the quickest way to do this. Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey are the leads.
Yeah.
And then there's like a bunch of people in it. David Diggle from Diggs from Hamilton fame is in it as well.
Yeah.
And then they did Onward. They showed the first 8 minutes. Everyone said it was great. Tom Holland came back on stage right at the end and said, "Hey, I want you all to know, no matter this week has been really crazy, but I love you all. I love you 3,000 is what he said."
Yeah.
And the audience, I guess, just like
Cried.
cried. And then the last thing they announced is called Raya. It's the first Asian Disney princess on a Fiqua. On a Fiqua. Oh my gosh, I know it's not how you pronounce it, but she's in it. It's the next November. So like they do a new Disney film every year. It's the next one that'll lead into next year. Well, that's not weird. It's called Raya and the Last Dragon. And then Frozen 2 is how they ended it. I guess they played the new song that's the Let It Go, and everyone said it was really good. Let It Go's good, by the way. It's just, overplayed. But,
Yeah, that's the problem.
and so they said the new one is really they like that Sterling K. Brown and somebody else is in it. As they're going to show the parents some more, basically to debunk the Tarzan theory.
No, why would they do that?
So, overall, everyone said the footage looked great, and the
I thought the
animation was
Tarzan
beautiful.
theory was great.
So that was all their movie stuff. Surprisingly, very little movie announcements.
They were like, "Hey, let's just promote this Disney Plus thing.
Yeah, I mean, like Black Panther 2, I mean, we knew.
I mean, that's a lot of content.
Right,
And then
well, Disney Plus
they're
already had, like...
releasing, like, every Disney.
I mean, Disney has a lot of stuff just coming out at launch, like, right away.
So,
like,
my
I
question...
think even The Simpsons is a launch.
Yeah, the entire series.
Like, yeah.
My
I'm just
question
like,
would be...
well, that's all I need. But
and they may have already acknowledged this, but when a movie comes out, are they going to release it on DVD first?
Yes. So there will be a...
That way they can maximize the sales?
There will be a window of time between when something is available on Plus versus when it comes out on DVD.
I feel like you would have to do that because otherwise you're not making any money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They maximize the sales by
Well,
having...
and you got to look at the people who don't have good enough Wi-Fi, though, that
Right.
will get Plus. Or those who just still need physical.
I'd say probably like a month, maybe.
I think they didn't give a time frame, and it's hard because Endgame is like the first new film that we can time frame, but that doesn't work because
It's in game.
yeah. Well, it's like Endgame came out August something, and it won't be on
Yeah.
Disney Plus until November or December. So that's a month.
Oh, so
after,
it actually might be like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Disney Plus doesn't launch until November, so it's hard to tell. So my best guess is a month, but I
think they said Captain Marvel is a launch.
Well,
right?
yeah.
Like, that's like the newest film that launches with the service.
Dumbo would be the newest. That launches with it.
Okay.
We'll be able to judge more now. I think they'll probably confirm it.
Yeah.
By
I was
launch.
kind of curious on how they were going to do that because, I mean,
it's not going to matter. The first, like, couple days after launch, it's going to keep crashing from everybody signing up anyway.
You won't be able to watch The Mandalorian for the first couple days.
I know. It's going to get even worse when Kenobi gets there. Like,
No, by then they'll have-
It'll all kind of, yeah.
It's like Netflix. They'll have it figured out.
Disney
by
has
then.
so much money that I'm just hoping that they kind of...
They should just, whatever, like, bandwidth, like, Netflix has, they should just triple that. And just be like, just in case.
But overall, I mean, like, I'm excited for Plus. And, like,
yeah.
I can't wait. I almost signed up for the 3 years. You could do 3 years for $100 and some dollars.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, you're paying $4 a month. But the deal ended.
Do it all at, like, one time.
Yeah, you had to do it all at once. It was called the Founders Pack. The problem was you couldn't do the bundles.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'd rather just wait.
And get the Hulu and ESPN. And...
Yeah. Even if I would rather have, we did the math, and I was like, I'd rather have Hulu with ads.
Yeah.
If we have to give it up, I'll give up the freedom of the Hulu with ads. But I would rather pay the just $12.
It's cheaper.
Yeah. But I would pay the extra
now,
$2.
With Hulu with ads, do they have ads in like the middle of movies? Or like...
I think it depends. I know
you may have to watch. At one point, they had them before the movie.
Yeah, at one point is before the movie.
Right,
yeah, which would make sense. Like, I
like,
would rather, hands down, be forced to watch a few.
I think it's like 6 minutes of ads before a movie begins. So basically, you just let it play, go do some other stuff.
Yeah, and then just
like you make a popcorn.
Get your popcorn. Yeah,
take it down.
Yeah, make your popcorn. Get
your drinks.
Because I know with TV shows, it's like halfway through an episode.
It's
like where
normally 3 ads, like where a commercial break would be.
Yeah, and I'm just like, if they do that with movies, like where they would like take a commercial break on like TV, that'll drive me nuts.
Oh, one last thing Disney Plus announced, and I prefer this, so this will also be, I guess, a debate if you guys want to end it on it. They are not doing the binge style. It is weekly episodes being put out instead of like Netflix all at once.
Yeah, well,
Netflix
is
Netflix just announced that they're going to weekly.
They're testing it with 3 series. Is what they commented on,
and I'm not a fan.
I would rather have it this way.
Really?
Yep. One, there's already too much for me to watch.
I guess
too much for me to do. If you want me to, on week 1, watch all of High School Musical, the series, all of The Mandalorian, Lady and the Tramp, all of The World According to Jeff Goldblum, and play Star Wars, Fallen Jedi, and Pokemon, and finish Death Stranding.
Yes.
I would rather, and it minimizes spoilers.
That's
You are less likely, and so think about this. This is actually the
best example. That's the one thing that I can agree with.
This is the best example somebody had, and I know this is hate or not. Neither of you watch Stranger Things. You watch Stranger Things.
Yeah, I
think about how doesn't
the
that
amount
feel
of people that sign up and then drop
the
service.
1, yeah, they can't drop the service as quick. But 2, think about the last time somebody talked about Stranger Things. But think about that if Stranger Things had still been going 2 weeks ago, season 3 would have wrapped up.
Wow. Yeah.
And so like it would have been in the mind of people still.
I guess
people
that's kind of
talking
true.
about it week by week.
Yeah,
and that's
because
where,
when we watched Promised Neverland, we didn't get the chance to binge it. We had to watch it one episode at a time. So I guess that kind of works.
Or like Game of Thrones, the popularity of week by week.
Oh yeah.
And I prefer this. It makes it so that
I guess you. Okay.
And
yeah,
it's
you know
nice.
what?
It'll help this show too, just because we can
Right.
literally just talk about each, and it gives us time where we can keep up with everything.
That's
like you were
actually
saying,
kind of
so.
true. That's a good point.
Now,
I
like,
didn't even think of that.
I do also agree with binging is cool because like we watched all of The Boys in like 3 days.
For me, I just feel like
Which The Boys is great. I actually really
if it's
talked
older
about
content,
that Rich series, watch it.
as long as it's only new
9 out of
content,
10.
I don't really care. But if they're like we're only releasing like one season,
No.
like if it's all new content, then whatever. But if they did that with older content where you couldn't binge it, I'd be like, no.
I agree with that. I mean, like, not knowing what's coming, I think it works better in, like, the public conscience because you're talking about it more. It's trending on Twitter every week. It's
I guess
on
that's
Facebook,
true.
people are tweeting.
You do get
posting
more
about it,
attention. You get more
like
people
Reddit,
interested in
discussion
signing
threads.
up. Yeah, that's kind of a. I never thought of it that way.
And I would move. That's what Netflix is going to need to do. They're going to need to move to that because people are going to sign up.
People will sign up and then quit after.
I really think that a good majority of people will have Netflix and Disney.
I do too, but I think that's because most of them are going to just cancel because they just forget.
Well, I think that
the only things
one
I
of
think
two things is going to happen when, like, the big shows that Netflix carries still, like, let's say Friends and The Office, leave. There's going to be some percentage of people that just outright drop the service because, like, The Office and Friends together is like a single % of the internet every day of people just watching stuff on Netflix.
Yeah.
So, like, if NBC is like, oh, yeah, we have The Office, come pay $5 a month for our service, people will do it.
Well, I think between Disney, Amazon, and Netflix, I think that
You have pretty
those
much
three.
everything that you
Yeah,
want.
the other ones I don't think, like even HBO, I think will have its own issues with keeping up.
Well, so HBO is moving. They're doing a new streaming service. HBO is no longer going to exist. It's called HBO Max, and that's Warner Brothers' new streaming service,
Oh, yeah, Warner Brothers is having
which
a
is
service
where
come out.
Friends is moving.
Yeah, Friends is owned by Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
I thought it was NBC for the longest time, but it's not. It used to air on NBC.
yeah.
But Warner Brothers has the rights.
So like they're doing a new streaming service, and I think it costs $15 a month.
That's a lot.
Which is a lot, but they announced that before Disney Plus did, and so
Yeah,
they
they'll
just
probably-
I think they basically took their shot, thinking, "Oh, Netflix is upping their price." Netflix is almost $15 as well a month,
Yeah, it's
It's 12.
expensive.
and so
At this
like,
point, like, you could pay for cable. Like,
yeah, with how much you're paying for each one of them.
hmm
But
But I mean, I would much rather just have the streaming services.
yeah, but you make your point.
Sorry.
Well, we kind of touched on it a
Yeah,
little
Zach, way to talk over Ryan again.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
bit. Either
You
way,
can lash him with the.
No, don't.
I see you're thinking about it.
I'll
Smacking him across the face. They go the other way, you idiot.
no. They go this way now.
well,
Are you saying that this hat is better than the One Piece hat?
They're both One Piece hats.
Are they?
Yes.
Oh. I haven't watched enough One Piece then. I've only watched the first 4 episodes.
Jake's about to watch it. Hey, Jake, if you're listening to this episode, why don't you freaking watch it?
Yeah, I know, he and
Minecraft, or do both.
He and I both talked about how we would watch it together, but we just haven't done that, so maybe we will.
I don't know. Maybe won't. That's what you're going to do Tuesday.
I could do that, or I could actually, help you with that room over
Well, I meant
there.
before that.
No.
Well.
No.
I don't think there's anything else super
I
big.
can't think of anything big.
I'm super excited. Ad Astra comes out next week. I think it's AD Astra, but I call it Ad Astra. The space movie with Brad Pitt.
Oh,
So
yeah,
pretty
that looks
excited for
good.
that. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of about to hit that lull of where there isn't a crazy
We're looking
amount of
for
stuff happening.
content.
Hey, well, we have a bunch. I have a bunch of games to play, so this is gonna be a gaming
for
podcast
me-
real quick.
For me, I'm talking about, like, my movies.
But
I might have to go see It just to talk about it. And I don't really want to.
the Breaking Bad movie will be here soon enough.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
It's like a month away. I think it's
How much have you watched of that with your fiance now?
episode 5.
Oh, okay, so you haven't really watched any more
No,
since that
because we haven't had time. We've been
those first few episodes, it's hard.
She I don't know, she doesn't really like it, and I'm having like force her to watch it.
You have to
Once
get
you
through.
get-
You have to get through all the fighting and stuff, like the arguing with his wife and all that.
I think I think the turnaround point is the episode where Walter shaves his head. And that's the episode where Jesse gets beat up by Tuco, and he goes in there
I
with...
want English people tag.
He goes in there with the bag of like explosive stuff that they think is crystal meth.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, this is not crystal meth, and he just throws it to the ground. I think that's when the series picks up for a lot of people, because that's when like the danger just like starts to ramp up.
You think I'm in danger? No, I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
So good.
I like the series a lot. I'm hoping that she enjoys it more because it was like it's cool for me to rewatch it because I'm like, oh man, this brings back nostalgia. Like I remember binging the show. Well, what happened is I watched the first season and a half and didn't like it. I was like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Then one day I was like, I own the Blu-rays. I gotta commit. And so I finished season 2 and I was like, I rushed to finish Doc and bought season 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
And then just plowed through them. And season 5B or 5.5.
Yeah.
Because they divided the Blu-ray release.
Mm-hmm.
5.5 was like just started airing, like right when I started.
Yeah, no,
3.
we as a family all watched Breaking Bad together when I was still in high school. We were all just super into like true crime stories and stuff, and we were watching it, and we got to season 4, and we were like, we gotta know what happens.
Did it end in 2013?
Yeah, the year I graduated high school is the year it ended. It's been 6 years. And
Dang. I guess with Better Call Saul, it doesn't feel.
It doesn't feel that long, yeah. But we now that you say it about the weekly content, we would like freak out for every Sunday wanting to watch Breaking Bad. So yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, whenever there's a new show on TV, I'm thinking about it more throughout my week. So yeah, I'm okay with it now. You have swayed me to
My
change
Hero.
my opinion.
Think about it like My Hero Academia. Even though you'd rather binge it all.
I would binge My Hero Academia in 2 days if they were like, here's just the whole series. Go.
But I don't think we've forgotten about anything.
I can't think of anything major.
I mean, yeah, the Spider-Man news sucks. Like, I didn't really want to talk about it. So
I don't really
we'll
want
end
to.
on it real quick
No.
of that.
No!
He'll probably be back in the MCU after they make Venom 2.
Don't throw anything at me!
So,
I'm very sad to know that Spider-Man is joining Venom.
I really think that Tom Holland will be part of Marvel.
some way.
My favorite meme out of everything that I've seen was just when they finally do whatever they're going to do with Deadpool, just have Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire just in the apartment with the blind old lady, and they're all playing fictional versions of themselves. Not Spider-Man, but themselves.
But no,
And I'm just
Tobey
like, that's
Maguire
great.
has to play Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield plays Tom Holland, and Tom Holland plays Andrew Garfield.
Gosh.
And he's like, and they're just sitting there and like, Andrew Garfield's buttering toast. He's like, does anybody want any toast? And like, Spider-Man's just like,
And Toby's like, but it's pizza time.
yeah. And then
It's pizza.
Tom Holland.
Gosh, we should not be allowed to write
Tom
these.
Holland's character is just sitting there, and Deadpool's like, Spider-Man, I've been looking all over for you. And then like, or no, Nick Fury comes in thinking that it's Spider-Man.
But I
Deadpool
can't
comes
say
up
that.
to him, and he's like, yeah, you're not really allowed to call him Spider-Man anymore. Like that's not Peter Parker. That's Tom Holland, and it's actually just Andrew Garfield. I'd give anything if that meme became reality.
Yeah, well, it can't. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Well, not watching. Watching with your ears.
Watching with your ears.
Hopefully
You should
we're
put that
back
on a
next week.
shirt.
Please don't forget to subscribe to us on SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio,
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts, Google Music, Play, whatever garbage Google uses.
We
Zach,
have a
Google
few
uses.
listeners off Google Play.
I don't use Google Play. What are you?
Well, thanks for being a disappointment, Zach. Thanks for listening and disappointing us like Zach does. Bye.
I'm gonna cry over.